everybody. Welcome back to another episode of God Built This Podcast. I'm your host, Maxine, and we are on episode 33. Okay, so there's been something on my spirit for the past while, okay? I can't put a number on it, but for the past while, I've been just thinking about this concept of change your mindset, change your life, and you are your thoughts, and if you think it, you could be it. Shut the fuck up. Please stop. I used to really believe this when I was like a few years younger, like a couple of years ago, when I was starting my career off as a full-time adult, right after graduating undergrad and starting my graduate years. I was introduced to this mindset of change your mindset, change your life. Change your mindset, change your life. If you want to be rich, you got to change your mindset. If you want to be the successful person, you got to change your mindset. And then boom, your life changes. And I think with this mindset, this like mantra that is being passed around, it is so dangerous. It is so dangerous. It is actually discouraging rather than being what people say it is, this encouraging type of thing. A lot of people suffer from their own inner thoughts, and I understand that thoughts are powerful. I greatly believe in the power in your thoughts, and if you always think negatively about yourself, then you'll never become more than what you think. I get that. But there's a problem when it's like this victimization being placed upon the person for why their life is the way that it is. Oh, well, you should have thought better about yourself. Oh, well, you should have had more confidence. You shouldn't be thinking this way. You should just think this way. And it's like, it's not easy to just change your mindset instantly. You can't just suddenly be someone who was abused, who was taken advantage of, who was told you ain't ish, and then next thing you know, well, all you gotta do is change your mindset. It just sounds like a fluff type of like remedy to the issue, when many times when you change your mindset, your environment is still what it is. There are a lot of people out there who don't have opportunities to things, who don't have resources, who don't have access to resources. So yeah, you may change your mindset about things. You may feel confident who you are, but that doesn't change the fact that your environment is still not uplifting you to getting you where you need to go. So, and I guess I'm just prepping for what I really want to talk about, which is Christian scammers, okay? There is like an influx of Christian, I don't know, I'm not trying to like down, I'm really not trying to down Christianity, I'm not. I get that there's been moments of peace and reconciliation and happiness and joy and all that have come from Christianity. But when there are people who use that for a farce, people who use that to manipulate and extort the masses for their personal gain, I'm calling that out. There are a lot of Christian scammers out there that I've been just opening my eyes to, and they kind of harp on the honest folks who just want some validation, who want people to understand them, who want people to receive them and tell them life is going to be okay, to be encouraging and God loves you and all these great things. And it's like, when we're not being honest about our intent, it looks like these Christian scammers are truly about Jesus. I'm truly about this message that he is spreading. Yet I call them Christian scammers because what I see most of the time when I look at their IG and I come across a post of theirs and people who are still following them, I noticed that they're pushing products. They're pushing you to pay them to get to this level of happiness, to get to this level of blessed. If you want to get out of poverty, you got to come and pay me for this workshop and I could teach you. If I could do it, if I'm the daughter of a single mother and all this bullshit. Like, people use a lot of trigger words to kind of like get your attention, to receive attention, to get you to hear them. And when there are people truly looking for help and there's people who are just taking advantage of that, it just boils me. It bores me. Okay, and I don't want to say this person, I'm not going to say this person's, exact name, but this person has an app. Let me just say that. This person has an app, and on the app, like, she'll just give like motivational type of rhetoric. And there was one rhetoric that she had. I don't have the app. I've just seen it through, social media. There was one rhetoric that she shared was, get off your knees for him and get on your knees for him. Let me say it again. Get off your knees for him and get on your knees for him. Now, let's differentiate the hymns, right? When you're referencing God, the Father, you have the capital H, for him. So the latter half of that text is a capital H. Get on your knees for God. Pray, be in reverence to, be in humility to, all that good stuff, right? And it starts off with get off your knees for him, lowercase him, that nigga over there who you're sucking, get off your knees for him, all right? And I think we've come to a point in society where, clickbait is definitely a thing, and it garners more attention, it garners money, it garners wealth. We live in that society where that's the thing. But when it's used under the guise of Christianity, of the good message, right? The good news, God, Jesus, then I have a problem with that. I have a problem when you're saying stuff like that. And she ended up giving a quick message, a quick video explaining herself. For those who kind of know what I'm talking about, so I hope you kind of get it, but I'm not going to say her name because you never know where, this podcast is being played and who's listening, and I'm not trying to get sued. But I think when you're starting off a message that way, it just gives off a poor impression. Her defense was, God just wants you to see you for who he sees you as. He wants you to see yourself under this worthy type of person. And when you're degrading yourself by sucking this guy's dick, it's not showing, you're not knowing your true worth. And my thing is, look, okay, you can still suck some dick. Let me stop. I was gonna say, look, you can still suck some dick and pray to God. Look, okay, that's not the point of what I'm trying to say. My point is when messages from Christian infused apps or Christian infused profiles, when messaging from those type of platforms are now skewed to garner your attention, to be this clickbait type of thing, then I question the motive. I question the intent. This person, she made a comment as well that she was like just looking over, she was getting at her house. Her house is like this big house. She was getting into her nice car, a nice luxury car, and her face is beat. She looks pretty well and, dressed to the nine. And she said an interesting comment saying how, wow, I look at all the things that I have and I'm just so grateful that God favors me. I'm so grateful that I'm favored by God. And I think that's such a hurtful ass statement. There are a lot of people out there who do not have the luxury of a big home, if a home period, right? Some people are not privileged enough to have that. Some people are not privileged enough to have a car, to be able to afford a certain lifestyle. And I don't want people who don't have that. There are some things that I don't have, but I don't want that to be a reflection of God's favor upon material things do not equal God's favor. Okay? If you have a nice luxurious car, nice luxurious home, that doesn't determine how much God favors you or how much he loves you. I think those things are blessings. Yeah. But I also believe that the intangible things that you have, there are a lot of people who are not rich, who are not wealthy, who are making ends meet however they can, but they make ends meet and they're happy, they're at peace, they're loved, they're appreciated. They go home and go to sleep with good thoughts about themselves and they're just happy in life. And those people, I believe, are favored by God. I think that's favor right there. You don't have to look into your account and be like, okay, I have to have a certain amount to look like God favors me or to feel like God favors me. And that's such a negative and dangerous rhetoric to have, because we think, oh, if I'm poor, or, oh, if I can't afford this, God is punishing me. God doesn't love me. And I just don't equate that to God. I just equate it to the society that we live in. I equate it to the system that we are working against, however you want to see it. There's a lot of access or lack thereof to opportunities, to resources for people to get out of a mindset that is negative, to get out of a lifestyle that is not helpful or productive, and to get into something more successful. So when people are saying things like change your mindset, change your life, it's belittling. It's so dismissive. It's not as easy as, oh, let me just change my thoughts and then my life will be complete. No, let's change the system. Let's talk about how the system is impaired. Let's talk about how there are people who are not getting the right access to resources, people who do not fit a certain class and are not getting access to certain resources. Yet, oh, you want to say change them. Nigga, change this account. Change this zip code that I live in. Huh? Nigga, what? Change these jobs that's offering minimum wage for people who have bachelor's degrees, master's degrees. Change this access that I don't have. Change that. Shut the fuck up. Change your mind. Change this dick. No, but my point is, I think that's so dismissive. Stop being dismissive in your language and your rhetoric. I just want to get off my chest because I just feel like there's oftentimes this talk like, oh, it's easy as 1, 2, 3, and it's really not. It's easy for a ditty to talk about, oh, you just gotta stick in there, go for it. All these Will Smith with his motivational ass. Look, I'm sick of it. It's so easy to be motivational when you're rich. It's so easy to be motivational when you have no care in the world of when's your next check coming or how much does this cost? Can I afford it with this check or do I gotta wait for the next check? What? But you want to tell me motivate this account. That's motivating for me. It's just, even with Alicia Keys and her skincare ass. First of all, you have the privilege to go on camera, to perform, to host an award show. A couple of weeks ago, I forgot when that was, but it was not too long ago. She hosted an award show and she's continuing on this journey of makeup free, happy me type of lifestyle. And although I appreciate the intent. Like, I get her intent. Like, don't let makeup make you feel like you're not enough without it. You know, I get that. But I also understand that you're a rich woman. You have access. You have money, resource. Like, you can't afford luxury items that can treat, luxury skincare that can treat your skin, your acne. She had intense. I don't think it was intense, but I remember she used to do ads for Proactive, and maybe Proactive really worked for her. But let's keep it real. Like, has a rich woman, has someone of a certain class, you have more access to different things. You have more access to luxurious things. And so it's easy for you to come on TV and go on air and talk about how you're free from makeup and the bondage of it and all these things. And you could afford that. But the average Joe Schmo cannot. So I'm going to pile on this foundation until this blemish goes away. Okay, I'm going to pile on. Now I'm going to add this beauty mark to this pimple so it won't look like a pimple. It look like a mole, a cute mole. I just want everyone to just be real. Okay, you could be motivational because you're rich already. Okay, talk to me when you're in the struggle and you're still finding ways to be motivated. Talk to me when you're still in there, And I get the whole, well, don't you want to hear from someone who's made it, who's been through the struggle and who's made it? I get that, but I also want you to be in touch with reality. Not everyone makes it out. And I know you shouldn't say that. I feel like I shouldn't say that, right? Because I'm a teacher. You should have this growth mindset. Not everyone's going to make it out. Look, there are some students, there are some people who just are not interested in themselves enough to put in that effort. So no matter how much work you put into them, you could be as genuine, as hardworking as possible. If you don't see it for yourself, it doesn't matter what anyone else does for you, period. Especially if you live in an environment where you're not seeing people around like you who are successful, and it's easy for you to kind of fall in the lump of things. And I'm not trying to, I don't know, I'm not trying to have a fixed mindset. Do you have a fixed mindset? Do you have a growth? Nigga, I have an account that says a certain amount of money. I have bills that reduces that amount of money. I have that, okay? So let's not act like reality is not reality. Like, just because you... I feel like I'm just ranting. I don't know where this is coming from, but I just think I think we need to just converse about what is actually accessible for people and what is not. And when those things are not accessible for people, let's not act like it's so easy to just change your mindset and your life is just better. I'm just going to change my mindset. Then I'll be rich. Nigga, get the fuck out of my face. Anyways, I want to get into... changing course here. I want to get into... There was this video that I saw about... This goes into the woman I was talking about with that app. If y'all know, y'all know. And message me if you don't. I am open to telling you, but I'm not gonna say it on here. There's this. So the woman of the app I was talking about, who said that whole text of, get off your knees for him and get on your knees for him. Him as in Lord. Her husband, he posted a video recently talking about how he does not want to engage in a separate friendship outside of him and his wife, that is not with his wife. So he does not want to have any female friends, period. And his point is, he doesn't even want to take the risk of not being this good husband for his wife, for not being this faithful husband. He doesn't even want to give off the appearance. And so if he does have a female friend, It's not just his female friend. It's he and his wife's female friend. And, what the fuck? Let's just start from the ghetto. Let's start from the ghetto. Not the get up, the ghetto. I think there's a level of insecurity that is present for women who feel like men cannot have female friends. I used to be this person. Now, look, there are moments when that is a good and accurate concern, right? My ex, he had this female friend who they were fucking, look, I don't care what anyone says. She was sucking his, okay, allegedly. But you know, there's a vibe that has women, our instincts, we know what's really going on. Like that bitch ain't a friend. Y'all used to hook up, like whether they were still doing it while we were together or they stopped as soon as we got together. I know they were doing something. Trust and believe. I feel like that's a different case. Like you could tell when there's more to it, when there's more to the friendship. But I do agree to the point that, if there's obviously some conflict, if I feel like this woman is overstepping or there's something going on, then me and my man need to have a conversation and then we could plan accordingly. You're going to cut this friendship off if you're really with me or I'm out, But I think I don't think that's the case for every female friend. I have some male friends in my life who are strictly that. Ain't nothing going on. Nothing. And I think that's possible. You can be friends with someone, even if you are, I don't know, I don't think I'm attracted to these men, but I could say they are attractive men, but they don't make my pussy wet. Like, it's not that type of attraction for me. So maybe there's a difference there. But I just think it's kind of small-minded to think that every single opposite sex friend that you may have is a threat to the relationship that you're in. I don't think that's accurate. I don't feel like that's coming from a place of security, and when I think about my ex, there were plenty of moments of insecurity I had with him, just mainly because he was super charismatic. He was super flirtatious, and to the point where he was desiring for everyone to kind of like validate him and who he is and all these things. So I feel like there's a difference with like, okay, we're friends, we're cool, or, hey, if the night is right, what we gonna do tonight, nigga? What's that? I think it's a difference there. In the video, he made it seem like there was no possible way he could have a female friend. And what the fuck? Like, what's going on with your wife that she feels like that's plausible? Like, that's okay. I don't want to feel like now that I have someone new in my life that the old people, the people who were there before you, are no longer relevant. I don't think that's fair, and I don't think that's coming from a place of security. So I think in any romantic relationship, there should be that level of security where, okay, y'all been friends for, you and this other person or these group of people have been friends for a while, and I'm still good, because I'm secure. I know that you have shown me to be this faithful person, to be this trustworthy person. And for my ex in that case, that wasn't the case. He was definitely just out and about. Then I found out. But I think there's something to that. The fact that we live in a space where, and there were so many comments that were agreeing that agreed to him, that agreed to his point, that made him like, yeah, he gets it. I want my man to, and like, I don't know if I want that. I think about my life, honestly, and I really don't know. Like, I really don't know. I really don't know about marriage. I really don't know about exclusive relationships. I just be like, okay, I mean, we dealing, we not. What's up? Like, are we together this week or are we not? Like, I don't really. Can I tell y'all about? So, the last episode. Let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about it. Okay, so someone from my past, like I discerned on the last episode, I discerned that he would kind of creep himself back in, because I just get that feeling. And then boom, it happened. And it happened at an opportune time. I was hanging out with another nigga. I was hanging out with him. And I get a text from old dude talking about he misses me. And there's something, look, here I go. Here the fuck we go, nigga. What's up? Look, y'all been there too. No, but there is something to us. I don't know what it is, brew it, but something to it. Okay? I'm a rapper. There is something, and I don't know, it's something. So he was saying those things, missing. When someone said they miss me, I'm hit. I'm yours. Like, I that is so easy. I guess I'm easy as fuck, but something about those words, I miss you, and it's just like, oh my God. Like, it just brings me to like a movie, a majestic space, like you think about me when you look in a daze and you think about our time. Like, it just makes me think like, wow, you think about me. Like, I like to be thought of, obviously in a good light, right? So something little like that will just get me going. Like, okay, we're back on. What's up? So he's saying that, and we have gone through plenty of bouts in our situationship of like talking, we're not talking, and finally he said that he just doesn't want that to happen anymore. Like, can we cut that shit out and like really just be good and like talk and be consistent and all that stuff. So I'm just like, okay. Fuck everything I said, okay. I am trash. What? Look, my point is the heart wants what it wants. No, but okay, so can we go back to what I was saying earlier, which was I just say a lot of shit. And I feel like I just like to enjoy myself with people. There was a quote, and I'm sure you guys heard it because it's been like so prevalent ever since the death of Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. That he said to Lauren London, you don't own people. No, you don't possess people. You experience them. Oof, let me light a candle right now, and I'm going to say it again. You don't possess people. You experience them. And that really hit me. And honestly, I wouldn't like it if a man said that to me, a man who I'm dating exclusively. Like, nigga, what the fuck you trying to say? You trying to see someone else? What's up? But hearing it from an outside source, like a third party, reading it, from a meme that's always on Instagram, it really opened my eyes and made me realize I like experiencing people. I don't like to feel owned. I don't like to feel trapped. Something about marriage feels like entrapment for me. And I know I talk a lot about like my experiences with these niggas and dating and all that stuff. And like, where's my husband? I'm just telling jokes. I'm a comedian. I just tell jokes. But I don't know, aspiring comedian. That's one of my, anyways, let me focus. So I just don't know about marriage for me. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's one of those things where if I meet the right one, or if the right one just like opens his eyes to me and I him, and boom. But I don't know. Like, I really feel like when I think about marriage, I think about entrapment. Honestly, I do. Honestly and truly. And so when I read that quote, you don't possess people, you experience them, it really opened my mind, and it made me realize that I enjoy meeting people. I enjoy spending time with people. I enjoy the newness of people, right? The new shit. Oh, he texts me again, good morning. I like that. And then when it gets old and tired, I fade into black. And I feel like that is something that's an area of growth. Teachers out there, what's an area of growth? Nigga, say a mistake. Say that. But I feel like that's something that I could work on. Maybe that's an issue that I have to like digest and figure out where does that come from. But there's something to the experience of meeting someone and spending time with them, or rekindling something with someone, and not feeling like the pressure is on to only be with that person, unless that's obviously communicated. But I just think there's a freedom in doing what you want to do. But here's the thing, I say all this right now, but I would hate it if a man came to me and said that to me, a man who I'm seeing said that to me and made me feel like, don't make me feel like I'm one of. I don't want to feel like one of. I want to feel like the one and only, not one of 3 bitches you're talking to. Please don't. But my point is, I just think there should be a freedom for women, especially, because oftentimes it's, accepted for men to be this free type of being, when it comes to romantic relationships and dating and romance in general, when that should be the same type of standard and acceptance for women. Because a bitch is doing that. So when he sent that to me and was like, I miss you, and I was okay, we back on, what's up? There was, I truly wanted that to happen, right? Like I enjoyed and I appreciate that he reached out and we are rekindled. But then again, during our absence of each other, I was not stressed. I was not crying. I was not upset. It was like, okay, well, washing my hands, or I washed my hands, or like out of sight, out of mind, especially being that I move, I'm away from home, he's home, and it's easier too, but it's also in a sense of, okay, I'm moving on. That's it. I've moved on, But it's funny how you could say, it's like when I said I was moved on, and I was, yet when he came back, I went back instantly. It wasn't like a push. It wasn't like a, no, I don't really. It was just like, okay, finally you came back, So I don't know what's that about, but there's just, I don't know, there's something, y'all. And I feel like, I don't know. Who knows? But I will keep y'all niggas posted. I'll keep y'all posted. There's just something to energy and something to feeling connected with someone and not wanting to let that go. I think there's something to that. And I don't there's something to it. And I don't want to let that go until I figure out what it could be. But I do understand the quote of experiencing people, because I truly like to experience. I like to be in the experience of, right? I like to experience conversation, experience growth, experience love, I guess, love-ish. But eventually love. But I would like to experience that without the entrapment of feeling like okay, I only should experience that with you. I only. And he said an interesting comment. I think he was trying to be funny, but I think he was kind of being serious. He was like, you letting other people rub up on what's mine, like, kind of, see, the whole possessiveness thing kind of kicked in. Like, nigga, this is not your booty. Maybe it is. But I think there's something to that. Like, there's this expectation that I'm supposed to hold you down, that I'm supposed to kind of be this ride or die. And like, nigga, we don't even have a title. We don't even have a plate, a title, a plate, a name, nothing. It's just, that what doesn't need to be said is already understood crap. Nigga, what are we? I don't understand. So it's one of those things where, okay, are you seriously expecting me to be this celibate person for someone who I'm not even in an established situation, like foundation? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And you trying to tell me you haven't fucked anybody since I've been gone? Please go ahead and do that. Like, please do. Because I think that's fair. That's only fair. So I don't know. I just thought that was funny and kind of cute. But then again, there's something to his behavior, some of his behavior towards me, that when I look outside of the lens of, oh, that's cute, I feel wanted, I feel desired, outside of those lens, I see it as a way of being manipulative and like semi-abusive. And I don't want to say like on some, Ike Turner type of shit. I'm not saying that, but there's something to the expectancy that you may have of someone who you have not established, not had a conversation with as far as exclusivity goes, and this expectancy and this kind of jealousy that's creeping up here and there when it's clear that this person is not only seeing you. Like, that's just weird to me. Like, that's kind of manipulative, and maybe it's something I need to kind of open my eyes to more. But I see that. I see, like, like, my eye is kind of peeking to that. Like, okay, are you seriously expecting me to be faithful to someone who is not my, like, you're not, we're not, you know that? Like, are you aware that we're not actually, that, like, we're not. So, and then it'll be one thing if I was to say that to him and expect that from him. He'll be like, I'm a man. I remember I said a comment one time, it was a while ago. I was saying how, like, yeah, I'm just gonna kind of, I think I was like on my celibate bag again. And I said how, I'm just gonna not have sex. And he said how, well, good for you, but I'm a man. I have needs. And then at that point, it was in that moment that I realized, you got me fucked up. You got me fucked up. I need to not, like, that's ridiculous to me, because, I don't have needs. I don't have wants and desires. Yeah, I do. And I shouldn't be shamed for that. I shouldn't be, talked down to for that. There should be this it's just, first of all, no. Second of all, what the hell? Okay? I just don't, I don't like that jealousy stuff. It's one thing to be, I don't know, jealousy from him has shown itself to be like, to the level of play with me if you want to, bitch. Like, that hasn't been said, but it's like, that could be kind of said. If you know. There's some niggas out there where it's like, I wonder if I hurt you, like if I hurt you romantically, would you kill me? Would you hurt me? Would you, like, and if I have to question that, maybe that's a problem. Or maybe I'm just forcing it. Maybe I'm just forcing it. Please let me know in the comments. But I just don't. I don't know. Anyways, that just made me think. Honestly, I might just have to text him. But I just think we just come to a point where it's clear that feelings are there, feelings are strong, but it's still, because he's said to me before how he's not really interested in a relationship and hasn't been in one. He hasn't been in one in a goddamn while. And so I said got. I don't say goddamn. Jesus, no, I don't say that. But in a goddamn while, he hasn't been in one. And so I know I have been, and he's shared that I've been pretty much the only woman ever since that point who he has truly given a fuck about and like cared for and has love for. I've never heard of that in my life. I asked him because I was like, I feel like there's love there as far as stronger feelings than like. That sounds so immature. A stronger feeling than like, but I do think it's more than just this casual. I think that there's more to it. If there's an in-between emotion between like and love, that's where we are, I guess. But I asked him that straight up because I'm just at the point where, nigga, what's up? You know? And so his response was, I got love for you. And I just thought, what's going on? Okay. Are you Cam? Are you Jim Jones? I feel like that's something that Jim Jones and like Dipset will say. Like, what the fuck you mean? Am I in a 90s hip hop? Am I in Belly? Is this a Belly scene? Do you not? I didn't ask if you have love, nigga. I said, do you love me? Not I have. What does I have love? I have love for my family. What is that? What does it mean, nigga? What does that mean? Anyway, so I'm not gonna like beat that. It was just a offhand, curious question, and whatever. And but here's the thing, like there's something with some men. Like, I don't want to keep on talking about him. I don't think he listens. We'll find out. But there's some men who are not emotionally. I guess everyone could say, well, all men are not. No, not all men. I mean, there are some men who are really not emotionally expressive, like truly and dearly. There are some hood niggas though who are. It just comes from just how you're raised. If you're not raised to be this openly loving, outwardly expressing, romantic ass Joe, the R&B singer nigga, then I guess it's unfair to expect for that person to be super mushy gushy and romantic. So when knowing his makeup, his background, and how he was raised, like he's kind of hard in the sense of walls around his heart type of hard. Good guy, good character, all that great stuff. But I wouldn't expect something over the top and like lovey-dovey type of thing. But when he gets in his emotional bag, it's like, who is this nigga? Who is this? And it's like those moments I cherish a lot. Like it really, I think it makes it worth it for me. Like, okay, I'll go through that to get to this pocket of strong emotion that he rarely shows. But it's worth it though. I sound like an abused ass victim, but I swear I'm not. But I think there's something to it when a man who doesn't necessarily wear his heart on his sleeve, when he shows his heart here and there, it makes it genuine. Anyways, can we get into some things I just Okay. So, I've been expressing how I've been kind of in a space of internal conflict when it comes to faith, when it comes to religion, when it comes to stuff like that. And oftentimes when people have grown to be a Christian, a believer of Christ, and they come to a point where that's in question, it's in result of something that's traumatic, right? Why did you let this person die? Why did you take this person from me? Why did you get me? Why did this happen? Why type of thing. And I get that mindset of like, how could a God, I could understand why some people may feel that way. Like, oh, how could a good God, let something bad, let me get hurt, let me get raped, let me get, molested, all these things. I get that. I do get that. And I sympathize with people who question God based off of the actions of people, of flawed people. I sympathize completely. But that's not where I'm coming from. Not where I'm coming from. My internal conflict when it comes to faith and when it comes to religion is just based off of, I think it's just, I'm such a intellectual person. I'm such a thinker of, I'm so in my thoughts. I am yearning for information. I'm yearning for knowledge and integrity and history. And I love all that stuff. So being that is just who I am in my essence, there's a lot of things in question that I want answers to, and people don't really have an answer for me. And I don't even know what questions to ask exactly, but I've reached a level of just desire in wanting to understand what life was like before Christianity was enforced upon my ancestors, before Christianity was enforced upon my ancestors who were slaves. I want to get into how life and how faith and what did that look like before we were captured. And I'm saying we because I am my ancestors. Like, they lived through me in some way. I truly believe that. And there's been I've always had this interest or this curiosity, but I've never allowed myself to ponder it and to explore it, just because I was heavily raised in the church and I was super involved in my home church. And it's like, you don't really talk about stuff like that. You don't really ask questions. You just pray and have faith. And I sound like I'm mocking, but it's coming from where I am today. It sounds kind of asinine to not explore these topics and to not at least give it light, and being that I am of Haitian descent, there is so much history and roots in my culture, in my heritage, that I think it's to the point where it is disrespectful to not recognize what was before Christianity came upon us. I think about the voodoo religion, and just saying that word voodoo is like, oh my gosh, you worship Satan. I hate that it has such a negative connotation to today. And for all of my life, I've always been thinking of voodoo in this negative light, just because of how I was raised. There's dark and there's light, and anything that's outside of Christ is dark. That's how I was raised. That's what I was taught to believe. And that's what I believed for such a long time. But now I'm at a space where I don't know why that was the only way. I don't agree anymore. I don't agree that there's this only way. And I know people are like, well, the Bible says Jesus is the only way, right? But in the Bible, I think about patriarchy, and here comes words I'm going to say that shows this intellectual side of me that really wants to understand. Because being that I am an academic person, like I am a scholar, I'm someone who likes knowledge, who likes wisdom. And so I will say these things because they are relevant. We live in a society where patriarchy is clear. There are systems set in place due to those who are in power, and those who are not in power have to submit to the system. They have to submit or they'll be persecuted. And so I believe that the Bible, there's a lot of patriarchy when it comes to how it was written and what was said. And if you follow this way, then you'll be praised, you'll be accepted. And if you don't, you'll be persecuted. And that's how things were done to kind of set you into place, to set you in line. And at what point is it a choice rather than forced upon you? At what point, I don't know. But then again, it's like, oh, well, there's places who don't even encourage you to, not encourage, but at least accept you for your respective religious views. Just a little while ago, there was news about Sri Lanka, where there were Christian people who wanted to praise Jesus Christ. And in that area, that's not the main religion. And so they were persecuted for that. And it's sad that we live in a space where that's the case. Like, anyways, my point is, I just want there to be clarification. And I'm in a space where I'm looking for more clarification through my own accord. And I don't desire to have conversations like this with people who are not even open to hearing where I'm coming from because of, and I want to say it, because of the brainwashing that Christianity does do. It does brainwash us to feel and think only one way because of what the Bible says. But then again, when you're not encouraged to question the Bible or challenge the Bible, then you're going to accept what's been spewed at you, And look, I'm not here. Look, I'm going to say right now, I'm not trying to break down any church. I'm not trying to tear down people's faith. Believe what you want. This is just my journey, and I'm just like sharing it as I go through it. So please don't take this as, oh my gosh, mama's trying to tell me to not do this. Like, look, believe what you want. God bless you. Okay. But me, myself, and I, baby boy, B Simone. Shout out to B Simone. But there's just, I question that. I do question that. And I want to understand, why can't we, okay. So I was watching a video of this man talking about Nipsey Hussle and the service that was given to him for his homegoing. And Nipsey Hussle's mother, she apparently has just gotten into practice of African science. She's just became a member of this African science church. And like, when I think of African and science, it's just like, it's like an African science church. Like, okay, what the fuck does that mean? But in this essence, what it's saying is getting into the root religion that we practice prior to society forcing Christianity or whatever dominant religion in that space upon us. So there were practices done and rituals done that Nipsey Hussle's mom did during that homegoing service, where she poured libation, I think that's what it's called, and she said different things regarding our ancestors. Our ancestors are around us. Our ancestors, let's give praise to our ancestors. And the word praise makes it like blasphemous, right? You praise God, you praise Jesus, you do this one way and this and that. But I think if you take away the word praise, right, I think it's just saying, let's just recognize that our ancestors, those who have paved the way, those who have sacrificed, those who have been killed and persecuted for us to kind of get here, through that lineage, I think that's admirable. I think that's powerful. Like, there is something, I love history. I love history, and that doesn't mean I love what's been done to my ancestors, but I love knowing that there have been people before me within my lineage who have sacrificed or who have been persecuted, and I am here today to share that history. I'm here today to be who they couldn't have been because of what was put and done against them. I hope I'm making sense, but there is something to that, knowing that you have somewhat of a responsibility to be what your ancestors couldn't have been. I think about my ancestors, and even not even that far back. I think that far back. I do think that far back, but I also think of like just my great grandmother or my grandmother from my paternal side, like my father's grandmother. I've been told that I look like her, but there hasn't been any image I've seen of her, because back in the day, I guess pictures weren't taken, or I guess weren't afforded them to have that opportunity to take a picture. Maybe, I don't know what it is, but I've never seen a picture of her. But I remember there were moments in my childhood when I was told I looked just like her, and I yearn to see her. I yearn to see an image of her. I yearn to understand what makes me me. I think about my makeup, oftentimes the characteristics that you have is in result of someone from your family. How people say, oh, you're just like your mother, you're just like your father, you're just like him. I want to know, and I see similarities within my own parents, of course, but I want to go deeper. Like, I want to know about your parents. I want to know about how your grandmother was. And I hear stories here and there, but there's not much talk about the past when it comes to Haitians, honestly. At least my Haitian family. When I would inquire to my dad about like, oh, how was life like in Haiti? Let's just talk. There's been moments when they've shared just like stories that they've lived, and they've shared those stories, but it'll be repetitive stories. Like it won't be like if I ask a pertinent question and want to seek more details, the conversation will just stop. Like, okay, anyways, you gonna eat this legume or what? Like, it will just stop. And I feel like that's because when they think of Haiti, there's an equation to pain and trauma. My parents have lived in America more than they've lived in Haiti. They've emigrated here many years ago, and they don't really go back. There's nothing to go back to. Most of my family members are in America. And so when I hear like some Haitian families or some like Haitian friends of mine, their parents would frequently visit Haiti and stay there for a month or two. And my parents, they don't do that. And I just wonder, like, why? Why wouldn't you want to go back home? What's wrong with home? And of course, there's plenty of political issues when it comes to Haiti, and there's still some work that needs to be done. But I just wish that there was more of a yearning to be in the essence of your home. Like, this is your birthplace. You were born here, And now I feel like I've somehow developed this responsibility to connect to my home. And it's like, what is not really a home? I was born in Boston, but being that this is within my bloodline, I'm Haitian. Like, I grew up, my parents are Haitians. I'm a child of Haitian immigrants, and I grew up in the culture, and I am the culture. I feel like there's now a responsibility that I have developed somehow to connect to my Haitian roots. And that's going beyond Christianity and kind of getting into, I don't want to say it. I just don't want to close the exploration of our native. And here, see how I'm not saying voodoo? Because there's such a negative stereotype. So I don't want to say that. I'm just going to say native roots, native religions, just because it's a lot of ignorance. And when people are afraid of something, they dismiss it, they deny it, and they don't explore it. And I hope this could encourage anyone to just explore something that you're afraid of. Instead of being afraid of it, how about you seek to understand, seek to learn it? And there's been some people who I've been following on Instagram and different things I've been kind of getting into, or just like listening, or just like learning about. And I'm truly in awe. I'm in awe of the beauty that's outside of Christianity. I'm in awe of the ways that my ancestors found relief. It's just sad that I wonder, like, if Christianity wasn't even a thing, like if dominant religion wasn't a thing, wouldn't we just be doing what is within our culture, right? So why not just do that within your culture? Like, if you grew up in Puerto Rico and there's a native religion, a native practice, a native tradition that you would practice and do, wouldn't you just do it? Like, isn't that just in you to do? But, because it's been said and forced upon you to believe that it's this demonic and evil thing, don't do it. I think it's just a way that white supremacy is telling us how to worship, how to be in peace. And, look, I could go in and in and in and in. I could go down a whole YouTube hole, nigga. But I'm truly in a space where it's important to explore and be curious and not just be one-minded, because who really knows? Like, I think about, and it makes me uncomfortable, because it's like, I was raised to believe a certain way. I was raised to follow a certain way. And now that I'm coming out of that way, I don't know what way to go. And there's that, God is not a God of confusion. Look, can you just stop? Like, there's a lot of sayings that people say that has been said to them, so it's easy for you to say it. Like, it's easy for you to say stuff like that because, that's what's been said. When it's like, but do you really understand what you're saying? Oftentimes we're just regurgitating what's been said to us and what's been done to us when we're not exploring or questioning on our own. There are, to kind of go, I guess it's not off topic, but there's like these two girls on Instagram who, they're young girls. I think they're twins, but they're definitely siblings. They're sisters. They're like this Jesus freak. And I honestly don't like that label, because I've been called that, and I feel like it's just like, shut the fuck up. Like, that's rude. Like, it's like, freak is a negative word, and when you put a negative word next to Jesus, I just feel like that doesn't make sense, but they are. No, but my point is, like, they are these two girls who make these videos and they talk about Jesus is the way and Jesus is the light and Jesus, and it's like, therefore, like, can we just sit in that? Like, therefore, like, how many times do we tell people how to think or what to believe and how to be? Like, I don't think they don't even know what they're saying. Like, honestly, I don't think they know what they're saying. They're just like, oh, it's a cute thing to say, and my mom is gonna film me, and I'm gonna have people on Instagram say I'm so cute, so I'm gonna keep on saying it. Like, I don't encourage that. Like, I don't think it's cute. I don't feel like it's important for us to embed in our children a certain way to believe. Like, if I ever have kids, I want them to think for themselves. I want to place several things in front of them and they choose what works best for them. Like, that's honestly how I am. Such a free ass bitch. Like, I don't like to feel entrapment when it comes to my time with people, when it comes to my thoughts, when it comes to my actions. I like to feel like I have the choice. And it brings me back to the whole abortion thing. Like, I don't like to feel like my choice is taken from me. I'm not saying abort every kid that you're impregnant with, but going off topic. My point is, don't take away my choice. Don't embed in me something that you have been embedded with and you haven't explored for yourself. And now I'm this 4-year-old sensation going around how Jesus saves. Girl, what you been through? You're like, I don't think that's logical. And maybe I'm too logical. Maybe I should just have faith. Maybe I should just this and that. But I think it's important for us to explore that, And I know that, this is like a popular narrative. There's some like Christian apologists who are recognizing that there are many Black people saying this narrative of Christianity being forced upon us when we were slaves. And they're using that and trying to debunk it with Christianity started in Africa. The Garden of Eden was in Africa. And it's like, no, what the fuck? Huh? Like, I think some people just say things out loud so much so that they don't. Do you really believe what you're saying? I think brainwashing is so real, honestly. And I don't want to say I've been brainwashed. I don't. I just think that when you're so stuck on believing one specific thing only, I think that's brainwashing. That's what I think. I think it's not good. Period. One, I don't think it's healthy to feel like your way is the only way. I think it's important for us to explore and just learn about different things. Who knows what is in the supernatural? Who knows what happens after death? Like, no one has come back from death and said, hey, this is what really happened. No one really knows. So there's just something to it that we should be more open. I'm not saying just be totally different and just change what you believe. I'm not saying that. I just want to encourage people to open their mind to different ideas, different ideologies. I remember when I was super gung-ho, like when I was a Jesus freak, I would say like, and I was single because a bitch stays single. But I remember saying like, I guess when I was dating super intently and wanting to make clear, he has to be this, he has to be that. And all these things was like, he has to be a Christian and not just spiritual. I know people like to say, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. Specify what spirit, there's different spirits. What spirit are you? And even that is ignorant too. There's a lot of ignorant things that I have said and I didn't realize until now. Like, I'm in a space where I'm recognizing the words that I say have just been regurgitated to me based off of just oppression. Oppression. It's oppression, okay? When you're oppressed and when you're enslaved, you have to believe a certain way for your freedom, for your survival. So that's oppression. I want the freedom to think and challenge and question and wonder and explore and be, and not feel oppressed to think one way only. That's oppression, that's being brainwashed, and that's slavery, period. I know we're getting deep, but that's just something I think we need to talk. Oh, anyway, so I remember saying like, oh, he has to believe in not just God. You got to believe in Jesus Christ, Lord and Savior. He rose on the third day. He rose and died. He died and rose again on the third day. Good Friday and then resurrection. I was saying all these things that were regurgitated to me. And I knew at that time the people who I was talking to, they were looking at me like, okay, like this kind of crazy person. And my friend said, people need to understand that we're all, even though we have different religions, it's all to the same God. And instantly in that moment, I was like, nigga, please, you going to hell. You, sir, are going to, like, I was just so gung-ho about my own thoughts and my own beliefs that I was not recognizing that, hey, you think different. You were raised different. Let me understand. Can you just teach me or inform me about your upbringing? Like, I think it's important for us to want to talk and converse and have conversations with different people of diverse backgrounds. You know, if you're stuck with people who only think one way, you're trapped. You're trapped in your thoughts. You're trapped in your thinking. You're not really exploring life. What is life when you're only in this secluded box? Explore that. Anyways. But yeah, he said that comment and I was just like, huh? But now I think about it and I'm just like, wow, I think that's profound. And anyways, these are just like, I'm just spewing out thoughts. Anyways, let me know what y'all think. I'm going to end right here. I do apologize for the delayed episode. I'm tired of myself for doing this. I got to do better. I learned that I have to set a system for myself. Like, you know how when you go to work, there's a schedule for you. You go from 8 to 3, 9 to 5, 7 to 4, whatever the case is. There's a schedule for you. There's an expectation, all this stuff. Being that this podcast is just on me, it's like, okay, I'll do what the fuck I want. But then I recognize that there's a couple of y'all who actually like what I'm saying. And it's not even just that. I'm not doing it for that. It's like, I need to show up more for myself. I need to show up, and because I do feel whenever I miss a week or if I'm late on an episode, I feel like I disappointed myself. And I do feel like a disappointment. It's like a true feeling. And I know that because I do believe that this is what God has called for me to do. I do believe that there's different things in my life that God is calling me to do, and it's up to me to put in the work and put in the system to produce that work and to produce content for my voice, for platform to be uplifted and enhanced. And when I'm not taking it seriously, it's not only disrespecting myself, but I'm disrespecting God. And I have to set a system in place. So I have something in mind. I'm going to work on that. Anyways, I say that shit now. Next thing you know, next week. Anyways, but I really want to shout you all out. I came across my comments on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, and I was like, wow, people really left comments. There's just 4 of y'all who left comments and who liked it. I have like a full set of stars. So I appreciate that, and did some comments. So that's dope. I really think it's just dope that people are making time to not only listen, but comment with their thought. And I'm glad it's a positive, experience you've had with listening to me. And I just hope that you can continue listening and supporting and leaving comments. This is very important. Leave comments, subscribe, repost, share me, and tell a friend. So thank you. And good day. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of God Built This Podcast with your host, Maxine. Please rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts and follow and comment on SoundCloud.